Probably to be sponsored by Fanatics right now. Now that the record has been broken, there's LeBron James merch to be getting for the all-time scoring record in NBA history. Also, you can get your Fendi collection by Rihanna from Fanatics.com. You can shop now while the deal is hot, up to 70% off plus free shipping over orders over $24 using the promo code 24SHIP. That is 24 ship. Also, Shooting Lights is being brought to you by Lids.com as well. Lids has even more LeBron James merch to celebrate the king breaking the all-time scoring record in the NBA. And with Liz, you can get free shipping over $24 with the promo code BOLT24, BOLT24. That is Liz and Fanatics.com. Get your merch. Get ready for the Super Bowl. Celebrate LeBron James. Now, let's get ready for a special edition of Shooting Lights Out.
Sound like some Viking music, don't it?
Yeah, gotta get it out the mud, that's the only way to win. Who am I to point the finger like I never ever seen? Been through the ups and downs like the letter N. They don't let you through the door, better kick that again. Cause that's the only way to win. That's the only way to go. Gotta get it out the mud, gotta get it out the flow. Cause that's the only way to go, let's go.
Shooting Lights Out. Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing today? I told y'all I was doing a special today. And, I'm happy to do this special today because even though I tried my best to get my WNBA news out there, my women's college basketball out there, I have not been doing a really good job of it. There's so many things going on in the basketball world. Trying to fit everything as a one-person band doesn't work all the way. But today is a special day, because we're going to talk WNBA. We're going to talk women's college basketball this entire show. And to let you know, my first ever guest on Shooting Lights Out knows everything that needs to be known for women's basketball. She is the queen of hoops. She represents 806, and she is part of Sideline Sports with her own show. Well, she got like 3 shows on there. But one of the most main ones, The Sip Off, which I have been a guest on numerous occasions. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Megan Price.
Hola, how are you?
I am good. Thank you for being the first ever guest on this.
Of course. Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, you said you want to talk women's basketball, so of course I'm here. I'm ready.
And look, y'all can listen to this on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. The playback will be put on the website. So it's going to be a fun show because I got to admit, despite what's going on, first and foremost, shout out to LeBron James for breaking the all-time scoring record. I'm not broke it yesterday, but I want to give him congratulations. But to be honest, the women have been making headlines more often than normally. And to begin, let's start in the WNBA because free agency, free agency was crazy. Beginning with the free agency, as you can see, the New York Liberty, my New York Liberty. I can be a proud Liberty fan for once. And most people probably look at, how did that come about?
How long have you been a Liberty fan? Just now or for a while?
I think this going already back to 2000.
Okay.
This going already back to 2000. I mean, I was with the Liberty when they was on it, when people thought they was on their way in the early 2000s, but never got through. They either ran to the LA Sparks.
Right. Or the Comets. It was tough. I'm happy for the Liberty fans, especially. It's been a while since they have been relevant, and I knew whenever they got Sabrina, they were on the right track. they already they have some other pieces like even last season that were really good. That Nigel Laney, keep an eye out for her. And I was really surprised that they were able to hold on to her during free agency and as they were able to do these trades to land Breonna Stewart, to land Courtney Vandersloot. That's huge. And so obviously, Courtney, I can imagine probably took a veteran minimum. Maybe she didn't want to carry the load this season. I do think that we will see her and Sabrina on the court at the same time, even though they play the same position. I think either one of them is able to transition over to the two. And I love a strong two guard system. So I think we will definitely see that out of New York. Like I said, it's been a while for New York. I'm happy for them.
You put up a stat on the sports arena that I didn't even think about.
What's that?
New York is the only original WNBA team that has never won a championship. I'm like, didn't think about that. So as you see, New York and the Vegas Aces, because the defending champs, they are not resting on their morals at all. Oh my, look at this picture. Good gracious.
Right.
Lord have
And
mercy.
they're actually in trouble or being investigated right now for something with the cap. Collusion with the cap. So we'll see how that turns out. Obviously, they're also under investigation from the Players Association for what happened with De'Erica Hamby. She was traded to the Sparks. She says that her claim on things was that she was discriminated against because she's pregnant. And I mean, but also your best asset is your availability. And so she may not be available this season. She says that she will. She was with the Aces for 8 years. So this was a tough move. But when I heard they got Candace, I was like, oh, okay. So I knew what they were doing. I mean, if you have the chance to go for Candace, even if it's in her last couple of seasons, I think you go for it. So, hopefully,
Candace,
they're not
dead.
Candace
Parker's going down. I'm like, yeah, Becky Hammond ain't playing around. She ain't playing.
No, she's not. She
I love Becky Hammond. Oh my God, I love Becky
Hammond. Yeah. I thought they were a super team before they got Candace. So.
Did you see this starting lineup here?
Right.
That is Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, Candace Parker, and Asia Wilson.
Right.
Even before they got Candace Parker, them four by themselves was like ridiculous to deal with.
Right. And then they also, who else did they get? They got Alicia Clark from the Mystics as well. Okay. He's ready. Yeah. Alicia is a like $120,000 tier type of player. The max that you can make, I think, right now is $280,000. So, that's somebody that is going to be a starter. So I'm interested to see how they are able to work those lineups. But I mean, if anybody is able to do that, I think Becky is the one to, figure out those rotations. But, some people are going to have to come off the bench. It's just what it is. But I think Candace is probably going to miss some games as well. She missed some last year. We know she's super busy. So, whether
speaking of which, shout out to Candace Parker, who's going to be on the call for the NBA All-Star game, making history.
Right. She's the first woman to be able to do that, to call a game at the All-Star game. And so, a huge shout out to that. Love the representation.
So, look, Vegas is not playing. They're not resting on one championship.
No,
they say we want more.
I think the W is gonna be a stepping stone for her, even though it's coming home for her. I think we will absolutely see her as a head coach in the NBA. So, whether it's at the end of her 5-year contract or she sticks around a little bit longer than that, as a Spur fan, I still hope that she comes and takes the reins from Pop at some point.
So that's what's going on there. But back to the East Coast with the Liberty.
Right.
They started off with this. The Jonquel Jones trade that came out of nowhere.
Right. I did not expect that from Jonquel Jones. But, whenever we heard the news after the finals that Kurt Miller was going to the Sparks, I thought I wasn't too surprised. I had to kind of go back and think about it. And I was like, well, their coach quit on them. So maybe they don't want to be there anymore.
Did anybody even know that she was up for trading? I mean, I know everybody can be traded any given time and whatnot because was.
No, I had no idea. This wasn't on my radar at all.
I mean, Jacquard Jones get there, and your Dallas Wayne was involved in the trade as well. You
Right, right,
know,
right. So, Connecticut received Kayla Thornton, or New York received Kayla Thornton, and y'all are going to love her. While Enrique was injured last year, Kayla filled in and she did great. So I think that she's somebody that's going to add to being young because they ended up giving us Natasha Howard in exchange for her as well. And Natasha, I'm so excited to have her a part of the team. She is somebody, she's a 3-time championship. She is there have been moments when I hope that Enrique would take a step forward in her leadership, and I think this is somebody that can show her how to do that. So just that championship pedigree, I'm so excited to have Natasha Howard. Now, Crystal, she's had it tough since she came in. Like her rookie season was awesome, but she's now on her 4th team in 3 seasons. So my opinion, the way things go in Dallas, you are going to have to produce or you're going to get cut.
that should be
Just
something
what
to
it
look
is.
forward. That should be something to look forward to. And then, as you
Right.
brought up earlier, Brianna Stewart.
Right, insane. We kind of knew this was. We knew this was there. We heard about this last year during free agency, and Brianna signed a 1-year deal. And it was either there were 2 possibilities there. It was either that she was doing that to kind of help the cap and then take her max deal this year because last year they tagged Jewel and they paid Jewel Lloyd, or she was just going to be there for Sue's last year and then she was probably going to move on from Seattle. Turns out, those were the 2 that she narrowed it down to. She visited 4 teams and she narrowed it down to Seattle and then New York. And she spent some time thinking about it. She didn't immediately do it as soon as free agency hit. It wasn't right then. It was the next day. So I thought that was pretty telling that she really thought about staying in Seattle. But New York is home for her. So I don't necessarily blame her for wanting to go to a place where, one, it's home. She's a mom now. Being around family is a little different when you become a mom.
Yeah, so around this time, Vegas already made their moves. Everybody already like, go ahead and give them the trophy now. Go ahead and give them. They just added Candace Parker, and they still got they starting lineup. Like, yeah, go ahead and give them the trophy. Then all of a sudden, Cardell Jones trade happened, and Brianna still says she's coming to the Big Apple, and it's like, wait a minute, hold up now. Things might be getting a little interesting over here now. Maybe Vegas might not take it the whole thing because New York over here making moves. Brianna Stewart, you talking about? She's just a pure champion. You can go back to her UConn. She didn't lose. She won all 4 years at UConn.
All 4 of them, right? Yeah.
Not even Diana Taurasi did that.
Right.
Okay, when you look at the greats of UConn, Diana Taurasi, Maya Moore, Sue Bird, Rebecca, they never won the whole time they was there. She won every year she was there.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes to Seattle, get drafted by the Storm with Sue Bird, continues on winning.
Yeah,
she's just a pure champion.
She is, and she's so fun to watch. I was a little concerned, not this past season, but the season before that, the 21 season. She got injured right before the playoffs, and then they did go to the playoffs, but they didn't make a deep playoff run. And I was a little concerned because it was her foot, and Stewie's not small; she's 6'4". And we all know how it goes with big people and foot injuries. So it was concerning, but she came back last season. She balled out. She was definitely in the conversation for MVP, and she was in the top 3 for the scoring championship as well. So Brianna's fun. And what I think a huge deciding factor in this was not only like being able to go back home, but the coaching situation. Now, Noelle is as nice as she can be, but there are moments when she looks like a deer in headlights on the sidelines. And I just don't know if she was quite ready for the head coaching position, even though she knew the team, like she was an assistant there. But I just don't think she was ready for it. Now, on the other side of things with New York, you got Sandy Brondello. You got that championship pedigree coming from the Mercury, who obviously moved on from Sandy way too soon, in my opinion. And you're stuck with Vanessa Nygaard. Good luck.
Now, before I get on to what else the Liberty did, because there is another thing the Liberty did. When you looking at 2 MVPs surrounding Sabrina Ionescu. 2 MVPs. You in the WNBA.
Right.
What is that?
Right,
What is
yeah.
this picture?
Yeah,
This picture
definitely.
alone, when I didn't get to the other edition, what does this picture alone tells you?
Right, yeah. I mean, that definitely looks like, I mean, obviously, super team is what comes to mind. Big three is what comes to mind. But beside that, I think that we see what Sabrina is worth. Now, she's your top selling jersey of the last 2 seasons, I believe. So, we like to call her Lady Mamba. There's a couple of them out there. Jules, she's the gold Mamba too. DT, they call the white Mamba. But with Sabrina, we know she actually trained with Kobe. And so, I think she delivers. She's already, last season was tied for the most triple doubles. And it was what, season 2? So the sky's the limit.
So and when you thought the Liberty were done, there wasn't.
Right, yeah.
Because right after that, Miss Courtney
This
Vandershoot.
this was insane for me. I now we knew it was a possibility. Like we've been hearing for a while. One, Chicago messed up her contract last season. It was almost time to report to camp, and she still hadn't signed her contract. So that wasn't on her. That was on Chicago, and so I think that's part of the reason they are in the situation that they're in going into this season. But Courtney plays the same position as Sabrina, and so I just didn't know if Courtney was ready to come off the bench, because there's going to be some games that she comes off the bench, and that feels really weird to say that Vandersloot is going to come off the bench. But this is year 14 for Courtney, and maybe she just didn't want to carry the load. And I mean, at that point in my career, I can understand it, because the difference about the WNBA and the NBA as far as age wise is you can't go play for in the WNBA unless you're 22. Like, you have to play 4 years of eligibility with college, and then if you're international, you can be drafted at 20, but you can't play until you're 21. So the ladies are older by the time they're in year 14 compared to the men usually.
So basically, you're saying the ladies are more seasoned than the men.
Yeah. I mean, and that's it reflects on the NCAA, in my opinion, and their greed. They want the ladies as long as they can have them so they can make money off of them.
I think it reflects the men's side too.
Right, that too.
It's throwing
I
it.
agree.
Hey, we tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Definitely.
The men need to take some shots too. I'm just saying. Because
I
y'all let
mean,
a lot of these everybody can't be Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and the White House.
right, right.
Some
Right.
guys
I
need
mean,
to
but
be.
I think if you're able to play professionally, like, I mean, it's on you. I think you should do it like baseball. If you decide after high school that you want to go pro, it's on you. You know what I mean? If you go pro and it's not successful, it's on you. But if you go to college, I think you should have to play 4 years. That's how baseball does it.
I like that one. I usually don't like stuff with baseball, dude, but I like that
I do.
one. Dude, because a lot of time y'all need to go and take some college courses and learn
Some people need some experience, need that college experience. And, I definitely recommend it for those that it's right for. But there's some, like when I was watching Zion in the McDonald's game, I was just like, that is a man amongst boys. Like, there was no reason that he should have had to gone to Duke. He could have played professionally right off the bat.
As you see here, the LA Sparks decided to join the free agency landscape as well.
Right. Right. The Jasmine Thomas pickup I thought was huge. She tore her ACL in the first part of the season last year, but she was a top draft pick last year. So I think she's incredibly talented. I'm glad Derek Fisher's not there anymore, but I'm not a huge Kurt Miller fan. So I just hope that she's able to play at her best. I hope she does not rushed back.
I did say join because they weren't done.
Right. Oh yeah. Now, if De'Erica's ready to play, that's huge. She says that she will be ready to play. So, I mean, obviously she's not super tall. I think she's 6'3" or 6'4". So, I mean, she's not super tall, but she's fast, and she plays with a lot of heart. I think that LA could be an issue. I think they're maybe a piece or two away from really being a contender, but I mean, they have some good pieces.
Yep, because I said they were not done still.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah. I like this pickup for them. I knew Seattle was going to kind of go through some growing pains this season, but with Kurt there, he's going to make some deals happen. So he definitely showed out during free agency, the best he could.
And this is interesting. It's like this looks like the times of Seattle and Chicago being up and inviting is coming back down to the middle of the
Right.
pack. They losing a lot of key players.
They did. But you know what? There was a pickup that Chicago had, and I don't know if you're ready to go there yet or not. But the Courtney
Probably
Lamb
not, but
pickup.
I know you. I think I got that ready in one
Okay,
of
yeah.
these slides. But the Spurs were not done because they are reuniting in LA.
Oh yeah, no. And this is what was gonna make or break LA. If the Agumake sisters, and they're a package deal. So I mean, if you get NECA to sign, then Shanae's gonna be right there. But that is a deal breaker. If they didn't have the Agumake sisters, I didn't see any future for LA. It didn't matter who they picked up. NECA last year was also in the running for the scoring title. Doesn't matter that she's year 13. And then you're looking at the president and the vice president of the Players Association, which is also now De'Erica Hamby's team. So I felt like maybe that was the right place for her to go.
Shout out to Nate. She's doing her thing, covering the NBA just like
Oh,
Candace
yeah. I
Parker.
love watching Shanae.
But Janae back in LA, I was like, oh, okay. LA trying to
You
get
didn't
back
like
into the
it?
picture. Now I was like, LA trying to get back into the picture. Okay,
For sure. For sure.
I see.
If it had been Derek Fisher, I don't think the job would have gotten done.
Hey, I told y'all, free agency in WNBA was crazy.
It was crazy.
I mean, I have every now and then, through the years, I'll check in with the WNBA, like, okay, it is. This year, I was like, oh no, oh, this is good.
Oh man, you got to keep an eye out for the draft too. The draft is going to be huge.
This year's draft, I'm waiting for next year's draft when Aaliyah Boston is available.
I mean, no, but both of them are loaded.
And then,
Next year's going to be bigger, but yeah. Oh yeah, this one broke my heart. This is my
Dirty
favorite player in
South.
the league. Yeah, this is my favorite player in the league. I loved watching her on the 3-on-3. She won gold in Team USA on the 3-on-3. I have a picture of her shoving her elbow into the Japanese player's throat because in 3-on-3 there are no fouls. I think 3-on-3 really helped elevate her game. She's a strong defensive player. She is a 6 foot. I think she's a wing player. She is going to add to what they have going on. You got Ryan Howard over there, which she was everything. All the hype was true when it came to Ryan Howard. Then you got Naz Hillman from Michigan, which she still has some development
That was no
go through.
question for me when it comes to Howard. I watched them lead Kentucky to the SEC title over South Carolina. I was like, this girl is off the chain.
Oh yeah, no, she definitely is. I mean, she was everything that they could have hoped for. And then they got Cheyenne Parker over there too. Then you throw Alicia Gray in the mix, and then they got Ari McDonald at the point. They got a squad. I think they're missing a couple of pieces, yeah, but I think they have a great coach too. I think this is going to be year 2 for their coach, and I was highly impressed last season.
That was going to be my question. Does age play a factor with this team? Because this team is relatively young.
It is very young. Cheyenne is a little more seasoned. But I expect big things out of Atlanta. They're making the playoffs.
Atlanta in the playoffs.
I think so.
Realistic, because they
not a high seed. Not a high seed. I think at best 6, but anywhere from the 6 or the 8, yeah, definitely.
All right. Look, y'all better Howard. If I had to compare, Howard reminds me of Kobe.
Oh man,
because she goes for your throat. She don't care.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, she's the definition of a true shooting guard. She's lights out with the shot for sure.
But Atlanta, y'all brewing something up there in the ATL. Y'all brewing something. Y'all might want to pay attention.
Right, definitely. I mean, but you know what Dallas got in return for this, right?
Oh, Dallas is on here. I gotta remember what I don't
Okay.
remember what number slide it is, but Dallas made it on
Okay.
here. I couldn't
Okay.
forget Dallas.
All right.
She did go to the misses. I was like, okay. So
The Mystics needed to do something. We know that Deladon, Natasha Cloud, and then Ariel are also all on their last year of their contract. And so they needed to do something, especially losing Alicia Clark, which she didn't play a ton last season. She was injured, but she is impactful when she's on the court. And so this pickup was really big for them. I think they needed some grit, and that's what you got right here.
this was a good pickup. And
For sure.
I'm pretty sure the misses want to make up for that. Even though it was Sue Bird's last, hurrah tour.
Right.
That had to be a nasty taste in the Mystics' mouth because they got blown out. They got blown out of Seattle.
They did. The first game they played well, but they didn't win. And then that second game, like you said, it was a blowout. So I thought that series, being that it was the 4 and the 5 series, I thought that was going to be one of the best series that we saw out of the playoffs, and it ended up not being that.
See how the
Just happens like that sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Now this had me thinking about the Mystics. Like, okay, I see what y'all doing because now,
right?
Y'all really feeling that loss. Y'all say we need some more help for Elena Deladon. You're getting her help. You got you a nice scrappy player,
right?
Now, Brittany Skies. When I watch her, I look at her and I'm like, she can do it all, but it's something missing. And I can't figure out what it is, but something's missing.
Health has been an issue. I know that. Now, but you're going to have that with somebody who plays defense because they're not afraid to get injured. And so I think that's what you get with Brittany.
Yeah. You did bring up the Sky earlier, right?
Yeah. Now, this was a big pickup for them. Former wing player, Izzy Harrison. Speaking of a defensive player, she plays defense. Now, she's going to play your center power forward position, but she's not very tall. So 6'3", 6'4" at best. She did win Defensive Player of the Year in Athletes Unlimited last season, and that was the inaugural season. But it was really exciting to watch. She had some issues with our coach, Vicki Johnson, and so we parted ways with Vicki Johnson almost immediately after we were put out of the playoffs. And for me, it was surprising, but come to find out there was some locker room drama. She just wasn't getting along with the players, and Izzy being one of them. We have Tiara McCowan, who is a true center, but she's slow. And so there's certain times when, you need a big lineup and you need a small lineup. And so we would run with Izzy in the small lineup, and we would get beat all the time. So until Tiara kind of started finding her groove, like the last month of the season, it took a little while. So, Izzy was mad about her minutes, I believe. And I can't say that I don't blame her.
Now, as I'm trying to make sure that I get all my slides I did, and I am missing my slides, which is unfortunate. But why I do this is let's talk about your Dallas wins real quick before I continue on.
Okay.
Because y'all made that trade getting Crystal Dangerfield and whatnot. Y'all also made another move too that you want to talk about. And what was that?
The draft pick that we got.
Yeah. So
in exchange for Alicia Gray, which we just put up right here, that she went to ATL. So we ended up getting ATL's first round pick this season in this draft, which means we get the number 3 pick. Praying and hoping that Haley Jones from Stanford falls to the number 3. She's either going to go number 2 or number 3. It looks like it's, everyone thinks Aaliyah's going to go number 1. I think that's pretty much a guarantee. Angel Reese is not draft eligible this year. So I've heard some people say, oh, well, what about Angel? She might be player of the year. Well, she can be national player of the year, but she's not draft eligible. So I still think Aaliyah goes number 1. Then you got Diamond Miller, and then you have Haley Jones. And so Haley Jones and Diamond Miller. I am a huge Haley Jones fan. I love her. So I think that while I'm sad to see Lish go, I thought she was great with the Wings. I think Haley Jones can do the exact same job and fill the same role just as well. But she's probably going to be a generational talent. And so this is somebody that we're going to see in the league for a long time, barring injury. But and she can come in on a rookie contract and do that. So really hope that she falls to number 3. I mean, I know she probably wants to go number 2, but oh man, I hope she's a wing.
Yeah. Now, as I looked at the slides, now the next slide here, I know for a fact because I was listening to you and Eric. Shout out to Eric Wilson. Y'all brought this young lady up and it disappointed y'all because she's decided to say, "I'm stepping away for the year."
Oh yeah. So I really thought she was done. I thought she was going to retire. This is Courtney Vandersloot's wife. We call them the Vanderquigs, and she is one of the hearts and souls and veterans of the Chicago Sky. And not only being with the Sky, but also she grew up in Chicago. So, just really a hometown girl. And I'm sure, in my opinion, it's time to hang it up. I thought, if Courtney, which we heard that she was going to be a free agent and that there was a chance of her leaving Chicago. In my opinion, the only way Courtney leaves Chicago is if Allie's not playing. Well, it turns out Allie's not playing, but she's sitting out, which I think is strange.
This has been a crazy free agency in the WNBA.
I mean, she's accomplished so much. Like she has the most 3-point contest victories out of men or women. Like she holds the record. Like she's accomplished so much. I don't know what else she needs at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe another championship.
This all season has been ridiculous, and I've been trying to keep up with everything. But everybody already know these two teams right here got all the spotlight.
Right, for sure.
Because
if they could tie for first.
Because this right here,
if you could,
good Lord.
Yeah, no, both very dangerous teams, and both of them, you're showing starters. Both of them have very deep benches as well.
Oh, on the New York, and plus Didi, happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, it's Didi's birthday. I'm a huge Didi Richards fan too. She went to Baylor, which I'm not a fan of Baylor, but if you don't know Didi's story, she had a massive injury, and it was like some spinal damage, and she had to reteach herself how to walk in her senior year at Baylor. So I've been a fan since then, because when you see that type of fight in somebody and they're able to come back 100%, I mean, that's just insane to me. And then even in her first year last year, because it was her rookie season last year, you don't really expect the rookies to do a whole lot because there's only 144 roster spots in the WNBA. And I mean, you can see the talent. It's hard to compete, but she made a difference. She's a great 3-point shooter, and I'm excited to see what she can do.
Look.
Oh, and they got Michaela Onyewedu.
Y'all already heard it from me.
Too, so.
I already had these two as my WNBA finals. I already said it. And now people know I'm usually the type that doesn't throw that out there right off the back. I usually do my due diligence and wait to that point in time to make my because I would say this, because I was chiming in with different people as I'm trying to expand my audience here. To me, what the New York Liberty are doing, it feels like the LA Rams. They are going all in.
Right.
I'm just like, and it was part of the reason why I signed, because I know how that season ended for my Rams with the Super Bowl championship. I'm like, they are going for it. I'm like, I love it.
No, I love it. I think it's one, we need an answer to the aces. We needed an answer to the aces before they got Alicia Clark and CP3. But for New York, finally y'all are back in contention. It's one of the original teams. They were never able to get a championship because they always ran across the Sparks or the Comets, and that's so tough. Like, because they had great teams. Like Becky Hammon was a part of that team, Vicky Johnson was a part of those teams, Rebecca Lobo. Like, y'all had some amazing players. And on Stewie's side of things, like, how cool to be playing in Barclays Center. Like, don't get me wrong, Seattle is a brand new stadium, and they are a basketball town. And I think the absence of the Sonics benefited the Storm. People just wanted to watch basketball, so they went and watched the W. But to play in Barclays Center, I mean, it's dope.
Yep. Now we're gonna take a break because we're not done talking women basketball. I gotta go to the college side, especially what happened this past weekend. I definitely got.
Oh, it got chippy.
So we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk some women's college basketball.
Okay.
Fans across the nation, Ram fans across the world, the Playmaker down there silence here, and you have turned into Ramley Talk. Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp said, the GOAT is not getting his ball back. We are ending this right here, right now. And Matthew Stafford did it. Somebody explain to me, why does this keep happening with the San Francisco 49ers? You can't stop Deebo Samuel for whatever reason. You make Jimmy G look like a damn good quarterback. And then the offensive line and defensive line getting their ass whooped by the other ones. Somebody explain this to me. Please.
Baker Mayfield was just a walk-through practice into his tenure with the Rams, and he's out there throwing game-winning touchdowns.
Just like in the San Francisco game, Aaron Donald gets to Joe Burrow. Burrow tries to get rid of it. It falls wide and short of some IJP run. Turnover on down.
Subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and whatever else that you listen to Ramley Talk on.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Cowboys Talk.
The Dallas Cowboys got exactly what they deserved. Let me say that one more time, because you know it's true. The Dallas Cowboys got exactly what they deserved.
Dak Prescott is overrated and he shouldn't be paid, okay? And the same thing with Pollard. I mean, Pollard breaking the tackles at that 57-yard touchdown run. I mean, we needed that big time.
33 points in the fourth quarter. Let me say that again. 33 points in the fourth quarter. And that's off of 4 turnovers committed by the Colts. See, at one point, and the fact that at the end of the third quarter, it was 21-19, and the final score was 54-19. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, that is completely unexpected.
Cowboys Talk is available on all streaming platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Shooting Lights Out with my special guest, the queen of who's Megan Price. Those are 2 other shows that are part of the Playmakers blog, me covering Rams as I do the best as I can. And then you have the Cowboys covered by my good buddy, the Bearman, Alex. I did it because I know you're a Cowboys fan.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He threw my boy Dak under the bus, though.
I mean, that is helping.
Yeah, no, you ain't lying.
I mean, Dak is helping me with these.
Yeah, I know those interceptions.
When I say we tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, that is good and bad.
I dig it. I try not to be as unbiased as possible. It's hard with the Cowboys, but I try to be realistic.
So we got the WNBA out the way. Now we gotta go to the college rankings here because I gotta admit, college basketball, the women they are putting on a show. They are really putting on a show in college basketball. So I got to begin by recapping last weekend. Look at this. We had Utah in a close fight against Oregon State, where Utah survived on the road. I got to admit, this season road games is not going well for top-ranked teams.
Right, yeah. And very unexpected, some of these losses, especially that UNC loss for me.
Oh,
Now, don't get me wrong, Louisville is a team that made the Final Four last year, so I'm not surprised that they're able to hand out losses. But I had UNC pegged to be a little bit better than that, and Louisville has been struggling this season. And but Haley Van Lith is there. She's a baller. She's already played on the 3-on-3 Team USA also.
I watched that Louisville, North Carolina game.
Well, I was switching back and
And-
forth between it and UConn.
See, I ain't have to do that. I have multiple TVs, which is.
I
But
saw.
I was looking at the game. I'm like this. It was a battle of runs in this game. Because North Carolina
Yes.
get on the run, they'll take the lead. Louisville get on the run, they'll take. It was a battle of runs back and forth. And so finally, to me, North Carolina just couldn't hit no more.
hmm
They just couldn't get the shots that they want anymore.
Yeah, it seemed like they ran out of gas. I do think that they are a tough team. They came into the season a little higher ranked than that because they made a deep tournament run last season. But this is that time of year. It's the last 8-9 games of the regular season. Then you have your conference tournaments, and then you have the big tournament. So, the next 9 weeks are insane for these college players, and this is not a time to be dropping a big game like that to an unranked team. I was looking at the rankings just a second ago. I think we have 2 lost teams all the way to number 7. So you can't lose many games
I
and
would
expect
say-
to be.
I'll be showing you the rankings in a bit because I think
Okay.
those. I would say this though before I move to my last slide: Baylor and Louisville not ranked. I have to question what is going on with the two programs because these are two teams that I know to be ranked and to have good seasons. I'm seeing
You said
Baylor with
Baylor and
6
who?
losses, and I'm saying Baylor with 6 losses, and I'm saying Louisville with 8 losses. Makes me wonder what is going on with my two programs because I'm used to seeing them two somewhere in the middle to the top range of the college basketball rankings.
Well, Baylor is understandable. Kim Mulkey is now at LSU, and this is her second season. So Baylor, I kind of get. Louisville was a shock to me. But you know what? They lost Emily Inksler in the draft to the Indiana Fever, and I think maybe she played more of a role than what we thought.
That's a good point. Next slide takes us to the game of the season. Now, for those of you, some of you have chimed in that said it was South Carolina going to Stanford as the game of the season. Y'all just looking at rankings. When I call this the game of the season, the home team is UConn.
Right.
Anytime you see UConn women on the program, people are going to watch because it's Gino Rimmer. It's how many championships we talking about since he's been at UConn? Okay.
I want to say, man, I don't want to be wrong, but I want to say it's 8 or 9, maybe double digits.
This man has been winning titles since 2000.
Right.
From Diana Taurasi to Sue Bird to Maya Moore. I mean, Brianna Stewart. We can keep going. This man has been winning championships. So you got one of the best in the business in UConn hosting, who are currently shaping their own dynasty right now with Don Staley and the South Carolina Gamecocks. This game was all what everybody wanted to see and more.
Right.
South Carolina.
UConn came in strong, and I wasn't too surprised by that. They were the home team. And it was just chippy as it could be. They were handing out fouls early. Aaliyah Boston was double and triple teamed the entire game. It was, just an extremely physical game. But I knew at halftime, you got to look at it and kind of think logically and know that UConn's 2 best players are on the bench. So eventually, health was going to play an issue.
Can I scare y'all for that season? Because
some
of y'all seen the post. Imagine UConn if Pace Buckets and Flood was not injured.
Right? Yeah, for sure. But
That's
Aaliyah
a scary
Edwards has
thought.
really stepped up. It
Yes.
is scary, but like Edwards, she's really stepped up this season in those injuries, and she's definitely their top player at the moment. So, definitely don't want to downplay her success because she's earned it and she works for it every time she gets on that court. We have since heard that, we knew how upset Gino was. He threw a water bottle onto the court. he was a little upset. He said that his girls were bruised up and that there were a lot of calls didn't go his way. But I mean, you're at home, buddy.
I know. I got that article. Oh, I got that article. Sure.
Oh yeah, he was
Now,
upset. He was like, "This is
Aaliyah-
not basketball." But
it wasn't UConn's Aaliyah who put the nail in the coffin in this one. It was South Carolina's Aaliyah. Because in the second half, she decided, I'm taking over a double team or not.
Right, yeah. I mean, there's a reason why she's going to be the number 1 draft pick, and I don't see Indiana trading that pick. She's going to be an Indiana Fever player, and I am excited for her because, while they have been the worst team the last couple of seasons, they have Destiny Henderson, which is a former teammate of Aaliyah's. They got Emily Inksler, and they have a few other pickups over there. They got Vivian's, who is tough. So, I kind of expect Indiana to make some noise. Now, I'm not sold on their coach just yet. We shall see.
As you see, Duke went down to South Bend and gave the Notre Dame Fighting Irish an unexpected.
And that was a huge game too. But they had a couple of players that were injured. Notre Dame did. So once again, health plays a role.
And then the shocker, number 2 goes down.
This one. I didn't expect this. I like Stanford. They are just brimming over the edge with talent, and this is a shocker. But you know what? It doesn't really, I mean, it matters. Of course, regular season matters because of seeding and momentum. But if this is one of those games that they learn from and you get your loss out of the way now compared to in March, then it's much better to lose now, but use it as a building block and you come in fierce every game from now on.
Well, one team who wanted to get rid of a loss right about now is Ohio State because they got destroyed.
They did, and their loss, their most recent loss knocked them down so much further than they were. So I had suspicions that they were just probably peaking a little early.
And then Virginia Tech got a good war win in Raleigh, North Carolina, the NC State Wolfpack. NC State's another team I'm looking at trying to figure out what's going on with them because they was up there.
Well, they had some seniors graduate. Kai Crutchfield graduated, and crazily enough, she didn't get drafted. So I'm not exactly sure what she's doing now, but she has a degree also. So she has other things that she was going to do in her life besides basketball. But I want to say they had 2 or 3 seniors graduate last year.
That's that. And what took place over the past weekend led to these rankings because, as you know, South Carolina number 1.
Right.
Number 2, Indiana. When is the last time you seen Indiana ranked this high?
At least a decade,
and
I want to say.
Number 3, the surprise of the season. LSU 23-0.
Right. Now they okay, so them and South Carolina are the last undefeated teams. Now Georgia did give LSU a run for their money last week. It went to overtime. Georgia just ran out of gas in the overtime, so LSU was able to dominate that. I have an opinion about the LSU schedule. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a huge Angel Reese fan. I mean, she's so fun to watch. But they haven't really played anybody. And the toughest team they've played has been Georgia. Now, February 12th, they play South Carolina. And I think that's going to be a good measuring stick.
Super Bowl weekend? Ooh.
The 12th.
Oh, no. Ooh. That might be the game I need to watch before Super Bowl. Ooh.
Right, exactly.
Somebody got to lose.
Right, exactly. Somebody got to lose.
Somebody got to take this L. Right. I'm sorry. And, you know, as you look at the rankings, UConn for Caitlin Clark.
Okay, so Iowa. Now they have been able to integrate their other pieces more, or they've been able to stand up, stand up and do a little more than what they have been doing. So while Iowa we knew was going to be a factor in the tournament, it's starting to look like their regular season they're going to be real serious too.
All right, then continue on from 11 to 25. As you can see, Virginia Tech, Michigan, Ohio State, North Carolina. That's a tough drop. For North
Now
Carolina.
my Texas ladies at 20, we've had a tough season. We have got hit with injuries, and we had a really big scare in the Baylor game. Rory Harmon, our point guard, went out in the third quarter and didn't come back, and it was really scary. We thought maybe a knee injury. Now she started the season injured as well, so she missed the first 3 or 4 games, and so we went into the season preseason ranked number 2. And so obviously expectations were really high. And then Aaliyah Moore tore ACL. Like I said, Rory Harmon was injured for the first few games. And so, we had to go through some tribulations, but come tournament time, like I said before, we might have 6 losses on our record. And even if we get to 8 or 9 losses, I still think we're dangerous come tournament time.
So I hate to ask this question because it's going to pain me to say this, but talk to me about Florida State.
Oh, Florida State.
I did not see.
Serious.
I didn't see Florida State being 20-25.
No. I don't know if they're overachieving, or if we just weren't paying attention to them. I'm just as surprised as you, to be honest.
Because I was looking for some Gators to be doing something this year, and honestly, something's going on down in Gainesville. Right. I think I need to go investigate why my ladies are not playing to the standard that they played it last year.
Right.
It started off good.
Yeah,
we started the season off real good. I was like, oh, we coming.
Injuries, I think, and I mean, that's just a factor. Any sport, any team, it happens. You have years where you just get incredibly injured and you got to adjust. UConn, even though they're at number 5, they're really injured too.
Yeah, but I needed my ladies though, because I can't trust my men. Obviously.
Yeah, it's been a while since the Florida Gators were good.
And we ain't gonna talk about football season, so I need something to hold on to, and I thought it was gonna be my ladies, and my ladies will let me
down. Maybe check out volleyball.
This is bad. Anyway, moving on. Here we go. This is what you wanted to talk about.
Right.
Don Staley did come back. Gino claimed that this is not basketball anymore. Players getting beaten up, getting bruised. Don Staley was not having it.
I don't know what sport Gino has been watching, but it has always been an incredibly physical game. I mean, it's always been a physical game. It's always been that. I don't see, when I watch South Carolina, I don't see them play dirty. Do I think there's missed calls on all sides? Yes. But how are you complaining when you're at home? These are your refs. It was what it was.
I mean, look.
And he called these ladies thugs, and I don't get down with that at all whatsoever. Dawn made a statement that, majority of her team is African American. She's African American, and then to call them thugs, I'm not the type to insinuate, so we'll just leave it at the statement that it was, but inappropriate on all levels.
This is not Gino or Miami, though. I'm trying to figure out who's the imposter, because this isn't Gino. He doesn't make comments.
He's always been like this. I'm not surprised. Going back to the rivalry between him and Pat, and then he obviously has issues with Candace Parker. She won't ever play for Team USA ever again because of the time that she was there and Gino was the coach. So I'm not surprised, to be honest.
South Carolina, they just get it done.
By
the way, they was down 10 points. I was looking like, when was the last time South Carolina ever been down 10 points?
Right. They were down 11 at the end of the first quarter.
I was like, when the last time y'all seen South Carolina down double digits in any game since Don State had been there?
Right, yeah.
And they overcame it.
They did.
There's something that I was like, yeah, I know we got to talk about this because I'm pretty sure it's making weight. Now, another thing I want to talk about, getting back to Miss Caitlin Clark.
Right.
Her
So
last
she's
game,
tied for the most. Or no, she has the
tied for
most.
ninth triple double, tied for second most because my girl
Okay.
Sabrina Ionescu was just a triple double machine out in Eugene, Oregon. Good gracious.
Right. Yeah, she definitely was. Not surprised by Caitlin doing this as well. I want to see them follow it up with some deep tournament play. Like for me to feel like she got the most use out of her college years, I want to see Caitlin in the Final Four.
Yeah, because they got knocked out. Was it the second round in the tournament last year? I want to say the second
They did
round.
get knocked out in the second round. Is she draft eligible? I think she is.
So
I'm gonna have to look.
Caitlin Clark, you still doing your thing. You know, her and Leah Boston. Now you gotta add Miss Angel LSU in there for Player of the Year.
Angel Reese.
They gotta add her in there too. Because
No, Caitlin's not coming out till next year.
Oh Lord, you gained. I already got one more year with her. Oh no.
One more year.
Oh no. This.
They got to maximize. You know, they got to maximize. We all know what Caitlin is, and she holds the record for something else. I can't remember. So like we know who she is. Like, and you can only do so much. You know, we hear in the NBA all the time, get Lucas some help, get KD some help. You know, like we hear all this, get LeBron some help. We hear all this, and this is one of those moments where, you know, the others, the rest of the ones surrounding Caitlin have either got to step up or they got to put somebody else in the position to step up because there's nothing else she can do. Her stats are ridiculous.
You can't do it by yourself.
Right. No, it's a team sport, you know.
And then, you know, how I like to do on Sugar Lights Out, I like to give my fans games to look forward to.
Right.
As you see, tomorrow's slate for the women's. Speaking of Florida State, we have an in-state rivalry with the Miami Hurricanes down at Coral Gables. Miami has not been the same team as they was last year because them girls were on fire last year.
Right.
But this is a rivalry. And this is something Florida State better not take lightly because them Canes, they know how to beat Florida State. That's for sure.
It doesn't matter what sport it is.
Doesn't matter what sport. Them Canes know how to beat Florida State.
For sure. For sure.
And then you have a top 5 matchup at Assembly Hall. Katie Clark, who we just talked about, got to take that talent against Indiana, who's ranked number 2 in the country.
Right,
It is a game. See, now, I have something to say. And this going towards the ESPN. I want to know, what do y'all have scheduled for ESPN at 6:30 on tomorrow? Because this is a top 5 matchup that's going to be on the Big Ten Network. I need an explanation here.
Right.
You tell me I have to find a Big Ten channel for me to watch a top 5 matchup.
Makes no sense.
I need to know what's going to be on ESPN around 6:30, 7 o'clock. I need to know that.
Right. Or they could do ESPN too. I think the ladies are fine with being on ESPN too. You know, like I mean, the UConn game this weekend, it was on Fox. It was on a prime slot right there at noon, or 11 where I'm at, but it was at noon, and they had over 1 million viewers. Like they will come if you will show it. And this is a top 5 matchup. Like we all want to see it.
Like everybody doesn't have the Big Ten Network. Matter of fact, people probably have the Big Ten. They don't even know what the Big Ten Network is at. They don't even know what channel it is.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I agree. No, I mean, you're not going to get me to disagree with that because, you know, even the next game, like you see,
9:30 ESPN top 20 matchup. Stanford at Arizona.
Right.
Y'all can put that on ESPN, but you can't put a top 5 matchup on ESPN. Make it make
Right. Yeah.
sense.
Agree. But I will say that I'm excited for this matchup because even though there's some space in between the rankings right there, the Pac-12 in women's basketball, in my opinion, has the toughest schedule. I mean, you look at all the teams that are in the Pac-12 and start thinking women's basketball, and you think winners. So I'm excited. I need Stanford to get on their business though. But you know what? If they lose a game or two and Haley falls to number 3, I'm happy.
Oh, because we know you love Haley. You want the Wings to do anything to
I
get
love
Haley
Haley Jones.
in that jersey.
Anything. If
Now,
we
I'm
got to
just-
trade
I'm
up
just-
to number
I'm just-
2,
I'm just
do
going
it.
through this. I mean, it is what it is, but yeah, ESPN. I need the explanation here because we trying to put the spotlight on women. How can we do that if you have a top 5 matchup that on a channel that nobody really knows about?
Right. Well, and tonight you also got the Texas ladies playing Tech in Austin.
Ooh,
Go Longhorns.
ooh, did you say robbery? I think you said robbery.
I mean, kind of. We don't like Tech, but we don't dislike them like we dislike OU. So it's kind of like UNC and NC State, like little brother type. Like yeah, we don't like them, but we don't hate them like
Hey.
that. But our coaches don't like each other. The Texas, they've gotten into it before.
Well then, there you go. That is all I got for y'all today. Told you I was doing a special. Like this WNBA all season, like there's no choice.
I love it. We spent a whole hour talking about women's basketball. I appreciate that.
Hey, I gotta talk headlines. WNBA season isn't not until May, but yeah, I mean, good gracious, the moves that are being made is whoa. We have super teams in the WNBA. We are living in a different era.
Right. Yeah, no. Look, and viewership almost doubled last season. So, they're talking about it, and whether it's good press or bad press, they're talking about us.
I'm
And I
doing
love
my
it.
part.
Appreciate it. No, much
And
love.
before we get out of here, I'm gonna let Mrs. Price do any final words.
All right, guys. Well, like Darnell said, it is going to be an exciting season. We're going to have a big draft, even though next year's draft is probably going to be a little bit bigger. This year's draft, there's still some major players that are going to be coming out. You're going to have Aaliyah Boston. You're going to have Diamond Miller. You're going to have Haley Jones. Like the first 10 picks are still going to be great picks. So, we're gearing up towards March Madness. We're going to have, that going into the draft, which will be April 9th, I believe. It's the Monday after Easter. So that's when the WNBA draft is. And then before you know it, the season's going to be here. So pay attention to women's ball, man. Even if you don't have a team close to you, there's only 12 teams. Pick your favorite player and become a fan. It's going to be easier than ever to be able to view games this season, and give it a chance. That's what I have to say. A lot of people that sit there and comment negatively about it, you can always tell that they don't watch it, because if you sit down and watch it, it's very competitive. Just as exciting as the tournament was last year, for the first time ever in the history of the tournament, the ladies got to use the March Madness logo. So change is happening. It's just a little slow. It's going to take time. But just as exciting as the women's tournament was last year, it's like that every year in the WNBA. There's only 144 roster spots. So, the competition is heavy.
All right. And if you followed me last year when I did Hoops Talk, I covered both the men's and the women's March Madness. And I will definitely be doing that again with Shooting Lights Out.
Awesome.
So y'all already
I'm trying to be at the Final Four. It's in the men's Final Four is in Houston, and the women's Final Four is in Dallas. So I'm gonna have to probably pick one to be at, but I will be at one of them.
That's Texas everything, ain't it? Just Texas everything.
Yeah, we love it.
All right. That is the Queen of Hoops, Megan Price, right there, joining me for a special show for the ladies to talk Shooting Lights Out. So y'all already know how I roll. I tell two hoes to nothing but the truth, y'all. If y'all didn't catch my normal episode, is up on YouTube, is on the website. Speaking of those, I did go off on a new math in my flavor file, so a lot of people got a lot of love that part of it. Yeah, but other than that, I gotta give a shout out to the ladies because I don't think I did one flavor file on the ladies yet. That pretty much tells me the ladies are doing their job because I haven't done a flavor file.
Definitely.
Well, it
Yeah,
doesn't
definitely.
mean you're at the hardwood yet, because if y'all ain't living up to expectation, ladies, I will find you and I will do a flavor file. And I do it like this. But that's Megan Price. I'm the Playmaker out here in Florida. I will catch y'all later.
You've done great. But you can't stop here. You can't stop now. You gotta keep going. Through all your trials and your tribulations, you gotta keep pushing. Now, finish your canvas.
Yeah, gotta get it out the mud, that's the only way to win. Who am I to point the finger like I never ever seen? Been through the ups and downs like the letter N. They don't let you through the door, better kick that again. Cause that's the only way to win. That's the only way to go. Gotta get it out the mud. Gotta get it out the flow. Cause that's the only way to go. Let's go.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If you want to follow the podcast, you can follow it on all streaming platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and a whole lot more. This has been Shooting the Lights Out.